As product designers, we interact with developers all the time. But what exactly are they doing all day? We know at some level they're writing code, right? That's a given. They're building digital experiences. But is that it, or is there more to it? They are doing a lot more, trust me. What they're really, really good at, and I think the thing that really boils down to it, is that developers are translators. They are translating human requirements into something a computer can do. So, in the same way that we meet with users, we do all of our user research, we're meeting with stakeholders and learning about the business requirements, we're working with the product managers to understand the problems that we're facing as a business and as a product and translating those into solutions. What developers have to do is take all of that context and our mockups and our designs and say, okay, how are we going to work this into our existing system? And that is what a developer is doing at the most fundamental level. So the way they do this, the expression of their work is through code, but in reality, they're problem solvers just like us. Another thing that sort of separates us from developers is the output of our work. So for us, if we can draw something, then we can create it, right? That's our output. That is the limitation on our work is only our creativity and the tools that we're using. But really, we can use pencil and paper. So we can push whatever boundary we want and create something as creative as we want it to be. Developers are extremely limited by programming languages. They cannot do whatever they want. They have to work within the confines of the language. Computers, really great tools, they can't do everything. And so their creativity is focused around getting the maximum output out of their code and their programming languages to map to the experiences that we want to create. And that takes a really, really special skill. The other thing that developers are responsible for that we don't always consider as designers is reliability and performance. So any work that they're doing has to work in the existing system. Otherwise, users are going to feel that impact, right? If the system goes down when they release a new feature, they're on call. They're on call 24/7, and they need to be there to fix it and make sure the system is reliable, it is working as expected. So any new addition to the system needs to be really thought through and considered to make sure that there are no bugs and there are no errors and there are no issues with anything that already exists. So they have to take all of that context into consideration as well. For us, if we add another frame or another page to our design, nothing happens, right? It's just how it is. So they're also thinking about that reliability aspect. The other thing is performance, right? The applications that we develop need to be speedy. There's some baseline requirement for speed. For us, we don't really think about that. Maybe if we're doing like really intense animations or like graphics or something like that, there's like some rendering issues and we've got to render something for a really long time. But once it's rendered, it should be pretty good to go. For them, they're constantly thinking about, okay, how can we make these queries faster? How can we make the experience faster for our end users? So they really care about performance as well. And those are two, between reliability and performance, really big limitations on what they're able to do in their work. So sometimes if you talk to a developer and you start getting pushback on a new idea or a new feature, it's probably because they are balancing those considerations. They might not be doing the best job articulating that to you, but that is what's going through their head most likely. And they're pushing back because they're realizing, I've got to worry about all this other stuff, and this designer hasn't even considered the implications of what's happening there. So that's a really big thing. So putting it all together, they're more than code writers. In the same way that we are more than pixel pushers, right? We're not just sitting there all day creating mock-ups and making things in Figma. We do much more than that. We're kind of creative problem solvers. So are developers. But they have to work within a really, really kind of controlled system of code and programming and thinking about things like reliability and performance as well.